The ambition of a king is measured by his resolve. Landon Barn, once a man from Earth, now the ruler of Baymard, works tirelessly to lay the foundation for a new era. His primary concern is the refining of crude oil, the lifeblood of the modern industrial world. With the power of the system at his command, Landon manipulates the very earth, redirecting underground oil reservoirs to create accessible seeps. He refuses to wait for tools he does not yet possess, forcing his people to innovate with the resources at hand. Gravity and ingenuity converge as the crude oil begins its journey. Chief Wiggins, a man obsessed with the mysteries of alchemy and chemistry, watches with childlike wonder as the first drops of refined products begin to manifest. The process is delicate, relying on temperature gradients to separate precious fuels from the crude mess. Each drop represents a step closer to the synthetic rubber and fuel needed to propel Baymard into the future. While progress takes root in Baymard, darkness gathers in the distance. In the shadows of Riverdale, enemies plot, unaware that the game they have started is already slipping from their control. Order is the backbone of any great army. Landon implements a rigorous military hierarchy, modeled after the structures of his past life, ensuring every soldier understands their place and their potential for advancement. The knights of old become the soldiers of the new order. Under the command of Lucius, these men and women are forged into a unified force, shedding their former titles for the discipline of the Baymard army. Amidst the gears and the drills, Landon never forgets the future of Baymard. He speaks to the children, teaching them values beyond simple strength, hoping to break the cycle of cruelty that defines this era. Even in the shadow of industrial expansion, human connections remain sacred. Landon's respect for the elderly and his genuine kindness earn him the loyalty of those who truly understand the depth of his character. Far away in the Yaudan Empire, the wrath of the Queen is a storm that destroys everything in its path. Her obsession with power and control knows no bounds, and she demands vengeance for the perceived slights against her authority. Back in Baymard, the drive for progress continues. Landon introduces the two-man saw, transforming how wood is harvested and shaped. Every plank and board is a piece of the city he is constructing from nothing. The roar of the trencher echoes the strength of Baymard's ambition. It is more than a machine. It is a symbol of their defiance against the archaic constraints of this world. Peace is a fragile luxury for a man who challenges the status quo. In the dead of night, the system's warning rips Landon from his rest. An intruder, carrying the stench of death, is closing in on the gates. Dumbo, the assassin, finds his stealth matched by the unseen defenses of the city. He never expected the banished prince to have such potent, invisible guardians waiting in the darkness. The environment itself turns against the intruder. Bound by nature and trapped by his own arrogance, the assassin discovers that death in Baymard can take many forms, some far more unsettling than a simple blade. Landon's justice is as unconventional as his technology. In the belly of his dungeon, the assassin faces a fate far worse than the blade, the tickle torture, an ancient, maddening trial that leaves him gasping and pleading for mercy. There is no forgiveness for those who threaten his home. With a swift, precise movement, Landon ends the assassin's mission and his life, demonstrating that his mercy is strictly reserved for those who offer loyalty. Safety is the bedrock of industrial power. Landon shifts his focus to synthetic rubber, envisioning a future where every worker is protected by gloves, boots, and gear, sparing them from the harsh realities of manual labor. Meanwhile, the Game of Thrones continues in the shadows. Carrie Barn, driven by familial duty and a thirst for power, readies her own blades, prepared to play the villain to outsmart her treacherous half-siblings. She is a woman who thrives in the dark, carving her path through the opposition with a cruelty that matches her intellect. To her, every death is a necessary step toward the throne she covets. With the most legendary assassin in the Empire now in her service, Carrie's plans enter a new, deadlier phase. The thrill of the hunt begins, and she is eager to watch the Empire burn for her own gain. Innovation extends to the very food they eat. Landon introduces the art of seasoning, determined to replace the bland, uninspired meals of this era with the flavors he remembers from home. The machines are tools of freedom, but they require a master's touch. Landon personally leads the driving classes, ensuring his people aren't just laborers, but operators who command the metal beasts they build. In the hidden corners of the Empire, William Barnston prepares for his own ascent. Bound by his father's vow to wear a mask, he hides his regal features while plotting to reclaim the destiny stolen from his family. The alchemy department blooms, turning out plastic and ink where once there was only raw struggle. Every trial and error has sharpened their minds, bringing the workers closer to Landon's level of precision. War arrives on the horizon, carried by an arrogant messenger who underestimates the banished prince. The challenge is clear: surrender Baymard and its people, or face the total annihilation of all they have built. Landon's response is a resounding declaration of war. He gathers his men, promising them not just victory, but a future protected by the might of his new army. For Baymard, they stand ready. City Lord Shannon leads a vast legion of knights, certain of their superiority. They march toward what they believe is an easy conquest, blind to the terrible technological death awaiting them. The sky erupts in fire and thunder. The cannons shatter the silence of the battlefield, tearing through the enemy ranks with a force that defies all understanding. The Age of Knights faces the era of industry. The battle is won, but the cost is etched into the blood-stained earth. Landon realizes that his path forward is not just one of invention, but of sacrifice. The fields are red, and Baymard has survived its first true test.